Happy Fragrant Friday, Fraghead. Hey everybody, this is Ben here, That Cologne Guy, coming at you with a new Uzbekistan got it this week review. How are you doing? Happy Fragrant Friday to you, my friends. You've seen the title and the description, so you know I am checking out none other than Musc Impérial, or Musc Impérial by Atelier. And if you watch me each week, you know that I am chugging along in a whopping 16 sample set of Atelier. Now, I did originally the first 8, took about a year break, and then I'm finishing off the final 8. This is my 15th installment of the Atelier samples. I have one left next week. I have enjoyed going through these, and this one is, this one is another one that I've actually really enjoyed this week, and I've come to realize one thing. When I first got into this house, I guess I realized, or I guess I thought that I would appreciate most those real bright, citrusy, summer, explosive, bergamot explosion fragrances that they put out because of the focus on essential oils, and I have to say that for me it has not been the case. I really like the other ones actually. I thought that the summer would be the star player, but they just don't last on me. They're quite nice, but really I like the ones that are rest of the year fragrances, and this one is no exception. So, and of course, as always, I will check out their description, which is on the postcard. And actually, this is my favorite postcard so far as the aesthetic. It's aesthetically pleasing. Let's just say it that way. And as always, let me know if you would like me to send this to you, and let me know by June 15th. We'll say. So let's get down to business, shall we? When it comes to the notes, this is I was not able to find the Parfumé, by the way, but this is a 2015, and it's a woody floral musk. Before I talk about the notes, actually, let me just say one thing that surprised me is that many people have said this one is even a clone of Aventus, Creed Aventus, and wow. So if you're going to learn one thing, or if there's one thing in this episode that will make you think about this fragrance, if you haven't smelt it, just know that I don't agree with that. Maybe others can comment and let you know that if they feel like it's. I have tried Creed Aventus. I had a sample of it. I had 2 actually samples, and like all Creeds, they just don't seem to last on my skin. I liked it. Of course I did. I don't like it for that price point. And I do not think this is a copy or a clone. The best way I could say this smells is almost like a Creed Aventus layered with a Burberry touch, something along those lines. That's the best way I can come up to make as far as like what it smells like. If that doesn't mean anything to you because you've only had Aventus, then I would say it's like Aventus with a little bit more of a floral feel. It's kind of a darker Aventus, but it's certainly not a clone. It might have been inspired by, and especially inspired by the massive sales for Creed. But man, I was surprised that many people said that it was a clone or a dupe. It is certainly its own creation. Okay, so like I said, 2015, I was not able to get the Parfumé. Okay, so the main notes for me are all about the mid. So in the top notes, I picked up Blackcurrant. Blackcurrant is another one that I'm a huge fan of. I really like Blackcurrant, and it's certainly there. Now, I will say this fragrance, for me at least, was relatively linear. If I had to use one word, it doesn't really develop over time, but I like the smell initially, so it doesn't have to. For me, it's really about the combination of the mid of fig, leather, and lavender. And I would say for me, the leather dominates of the 3, and I really like that combination. I mean, fig, leather, and lavender. Not a combination you hear, especially in the mid notes. And then it's cedar in the base, which is a very, very nice cedar that runs right along undercurrent of the fragrance. And I really appreciate that about this fragrance. I like the fact that it has a woodsy element to it. And it's, by the way, it's Virginia cedar. So I don't know if that matters, whether or not it's just cedar or Virginia cedar. I'll have to look that up sometime. But I do like that because you've got the fig, the leather, and the lavender going on. And then all of a sudden, you bring in the cedar, and then you have the fruity element of bergamot. I didn't mention it, but it's in there, and black currant on the top. Now, I did mention sage also as a top note. I don't get that, actually. I don't pick up sage. I can't. But I wanted to at least throw that in there. So those are the notes. And that's what. So I guess the question for this episode would be: if you have smelled this before, let us know if you do think it's very similar to Creed Aventus or not. If I had to vote, I would say not. That's just my take. So those are the notes, and that's what it smells like. Actually, I have to tell you, just like Rose Anonyme and a lot of the citrus-based fragrances in this house, Longevity, Projection, and Sillage did much better for me. This one is a 6 to 8, probably closer to 6.5. I put a fair amount on, but I'm happy to get 6 and 6.5 hours out of this. So I'm good with Longevity. I would call it par for course, which is actually superb for this house. So, and then Projection is also about an arm's length away for the first 2 hours, and then it starts to settle down. Very good. Sillage coming in and out of rooms. If you're at parties, you will get noticed. People will ask you what you're wearing, and it is for the first 2 to 3 hours at least. And it is very. I find this to be an original release. It's not every day you hear something that says, it's a combination of Creed Aventus and Burberry Touch. I would say like 75% Aventus and 25% Touch. But anyway, it has that going for it. You know what too? It doesn't have heliotrope too. Yeah, no, it's Burberry Touch. The one I'm picking up. Maybe I'll say 66-34 on the percentage. I don't know. It's a combination. So those are that's the Longevity, the Projection, and the Sillage. And then, for gender, okay, this one is a unisex masculine leaning. It is. Okay, there's no doubt about it. You got the leather, fig so much, but the leather and the cedar and the lavender really make it masculine leaning, and it's very clean. It's going to be attractive. Actually, it's an attractive scent. I would even go so far as to say, though, that to me this would also work quite well on a woman's skin. So I liked wearing it, but I think a woman could absolutely pull this off. And I'm going to go ahead and say that since I said that earlier, the 66-34 thing, let's just go with that. I'm going to say 66%. 2/3 of the people who own this, wear it, it's their signature scent, will be men, and the other third, 34%, will be women wearing this scent. Definitely could be worn by both, and I have a sneaky suspicion slightly more tilted to the guy side. And then age. This one is a very, I would categorize this one as a romantic. This is definitely a date night. It's definitely meant to make an impression. It will pique someone's interest because it doesn't smell just quote unquote like every other fragrance. It has its own thing going. I do respect that about that one a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and say for age, I'll say 22 and up, actually. I'll say 22 and up, that it would work just fine. I see this being worn on a lot of first dates by anyone. So let's go ahead and go to season now. This one with the lavender and the sage, it is a woody floral musk. I'm going to go ahead and say to me that this one would be perfect for a spring night. When I think of this fragrance, I think of a spring night. So spring would be the dominant for this, and perhaps fall. and definitely winter. And you could wear this one actually year round. I don't think this would be too cloying in the heat. I've already said it too many times that this house doesn't do too well with longevity in the heat. So I guess maybe in June and July you might not wear it, but that's precisely what I just did, and it holds up pretty well for me. If it can hold up for me in June, it will hold up for you just fine. The only bad news, by the way, is that I tried to. I remember I told you guys that the sample set came with a coupon code, and I tried to put that in the website, and they no longer sell directly from their site, at least in the United States. So, rumors abound as to why that might be. You can still buy it through the discounters, of course, but you cannot buy it direct from Atelier if you are here in the States. Odd indeed. I don't know what's going on with that. So that is that's the season. This is another one that for me, the event would be more of a nighttime romantic setting. You could wear this to work, of course. It has a very sharp, clean element to it. It does. And I mean, I just love the way the fruit mixes with leather, mixes with the cedar. So, and then you've got lavender and sage. So, I mean, it's just quite nice. I personally would rather have this though for the evening on out. So this would be perfect for, they had the 4 or 5 o'clock happy hour on to the dinner night out, to the live concert, to the clubbing scene, whatever. But I see this more as a nighttime fragrance for me. But it would work at the office. So this one actually was a very, very easy rating. This is what a 4 looks like, a 4 spray out of my 5 spray system. This is definitely super easy because I love the originality of it. I really appreciate what's going on here, and it lasts long enough that I don't have to worry about docking points. I would just say, again, I would probably just take off 1 just because it doesn't have that incredible oomph factor that a 5 and a 5 out of 5 must have. And then it also doesn't, it doesn't impress me as far as their price point. I mean, they used to be, at least when they sold them here, $225 a bottle. And I'm not going to go anywhere near that, too expensive. So I'm going to take off 1 spray for that. That's really about it though, because this is what this one is? This one is actually, it's for Father's Day coming up. And for, this is another fragrance that would be great for gift giving. This house really excels in making fragrances that are perhaps not, earth-shatteringly awesome, but they are very good and it'd be hard to dislike. This one would be a great gift for somebody, and I say that because it would logically be Father's Day, but as I said earlier, this would work on a woman's skin to me, absolutely. So this would be a perfect gift to give that person in your life, but obviously, if it's a blind buy, you probably don't want to shell out that kind of cash for a blind buy. So maybe grab a sample if you can. So let's go. I have just a little bit left on that one. And as I said, my sample of the day, my scent of the day is Issey Miyake by L'Odyssée by Issey Miyake, and I'm just going to sear through that one until I finally get rid of it, quite honestly. So, because I've had way too many bottles. It's time for me to move on from that one, but I've thoroughly enjoyed wearing it since the mid-90s, actually. So it's been an incredible run. So we're going to go 1 on, but I do have a little tiny bit to add. So we're going to go 1 on each wrist and 1 on each side of the neck. So this is 4 out of 5 sprays for Musc Impérial. And these will be kind of dabs, I guess. You can, I'm just trying to get every last bit. Boom. Boom. See if I can. Boom. And boom. There we go. Dry as a bone, my friends. This is Musc Impérial by Atelier. Now, let's read their description. I have not read it. And let's see if it's watch them say it's perfect for the office. All right, let's see what they say. And as I said, if you would like me to send this to you, let me know. It says, Musc Impérial. Emotions and places are sometimes inseparable. The evening approaches. Revived by the powerful rays of the sun and the Mediterranean breeze, the city comes to life. The encounter must take place at the top. Excitement is inevitable. The party will be epic. I will say this about this house. It will never be my favorite house, but I will say this. I actually almost always greatly appreciate their descriptions because they're not too cheesy, and I do think that they actually work well with the actual fragrance. They're not just kind of like someone hired to impress you with words, because this one really is something along those lines. I mean, I can see myself in Roma, sitting outside in the evening for a romantic night out or a night out with a group of friends. And then we move on to, live music and clubbing and something like that. It'd be perfect for, semi-casual, a well-dressed setting. And you can't go wrong with this fragrance. Okay, and let me end the episode by talking about the clothing, because for me, usually with this house, I say something like you could wear this with anything because it's more the scent. This one, I do admit that it would be more for, I find it more for a semi-formal dress or something like business casual. I do see it as maybe, a blazer, a sports jacket, and dress shoes. If I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt, this might not be the one that I would reach for. If I went to a barbecue, I probably wouldn't wear something like this one. I would reserve this for something where you're well dressed and it's a little bit more formal, not ultra formal, but formal enough that you're going to wear something, you're going to dress up, is what I'm saying. So that is what I wanted to add about the clothing. And let me know what is your scent of the day. Let me know if you like this fragrance, and if you have tried it, let me know if you agree or disagree with the notion that it is incredibly similar to Creed Aventus. As I said, I do not think that it is. But hey, I am not an expert on this, and maybe you guys can shine some light on that. So 15 samples down. Next week I have one more Atelier to do, and I'm looking forward to that one. And then I'll move on. I've got already got the lineup for the rest of the channel. After that, I'll have 6 more weeks, and I have those fragrances all lined up, including a subscriber recommendation, an oldie but a goodie that I just recently bought, because I had to do a review on this one, because I won't say what it is, but I've reviewed it I've had so many bottles of it that I had to review it. In fact, I recently went to the search engine I ran a search in my YouTube channel because I couldn't believe that I hadn't reviewed it at the very beginning. So I will be reviewing an oldie but a goodie, and then I have a few tricks up my sleeve, a few surprises as I end off the channel. You take care. Have a great week. I look forward to seeing you next week. And always remember, my friends, fragrance marks the celebration of today. Take care, everybody. And then let me just end with, I mentioned event, but let me just end with the close. This is another one, too, that I do think it's another one that goes best with kind of semi-casual, semi-formal dress. Business formal, I think, is that what it's called? Business casual. Okay, that was a blooper. All right. 1, 2, 3.